I cannot believe that in just a few months, this space has completely changed, and I gotta be honest, I am loving how everything looks like. Because I wanted more space to grow cut flowers, and I wanted to have the best possible spot for those cut flowers, which is full sun. I made the decision earlier this year to completely remove everything that I had here, all the boxwood hedge, the perennials, the shrubs, and add raised beds, and that was a great decision. I added a bunch of space. I removed grass. I actually didn't remove the grass, I just killed it with cardboard, but everything is looking so nice, you guys. I really love this little space. I don't have the luxury of having a huge property. I live really close to the city. I am surrounded by neighbors. There are a lot of trees, even though I don't have a lot of trees in my space. There are a lot of trees around me, and that means shade. So this spot right here in front of the garage is really one of the best spots for full sun, and I think that the flowers are doing really great. There are a lot of things that I am doing new this year. New raised beds. I am trying new flowers. For example, that febrifuge that is right there in that little corner on that raised bed. I love it. It has been producing so many flowers, and the stems are long and tall, and it's just beautiful. I am hoping the next year they come back for me. Fingers crossed that they do, but if not, I am going to start a bunch more from seed. These right here are the single variety that I got the seeds from Johnny's, and I just love it. Other things that I'm doing new is trying this type of netting to support the flowers. This Jute netting especially, I am not the biggest fan of it because it breaks so easily. I think it's just the type of product that it is. It's supposed to be a single use, and I am finding it to be true, obviously. But I do have the hortonova, the plastic knitting, and I love it. One of the things that I mentioned earlier this year when I was setting up these raised beds here is the short paths that I had in between the raised beds, and I knew that was going to be a very tight space. I believe these raised beds are about 16 inches apart or so the pathways are not really that big. But again, I am trying to maximize the space here, and if I would give myself plenty of room in between the beds, I will only be able to fit 3 beds at most. But making them super tight in between, I can get an extra bed, and I think that's so far working really well for me. Although I have to keep on top of trimming, supporting, and as I mentioned, this netting here, it has kind of been a pain. Every time it rains, it stretches, so I have to be tighten and retighten the knots at the end, trying to, move it around. And I have found that one single netting, one single layer, kind of raised from the ground, it's plenty for most everything except dahlias. I do have a space on another side of my garden with just dahlias, and I have a single layer of hortonova, and the top of it is just like a corral system, just a string around the outside of the beds, and that is working really well. I haven't done that here, so I am going to work on this really quick here for the bed that has the dahlias, because as you can tell, the dahlias are definitely invading the other side. I probably should have done this sooner, before these things got really tall. So it's looking a lot better. Definitely the netting is kind of broken in the middle. I'm going to see if I can show you. There is netting right there in the middle that is supposed to be holding the dahlias, but it's broken on a couple spots, so it's just very wiggly around. I am going to continue corralling the rest of this dahlia bed, so hopefully it just grows nice and tall. And if you're wondering what I mean when I say I'm going to continue corralling, I'm just going to use regular string, and then I'm just going to wrap it around the post that I have here, and I am going to go zigzag from one post to the other on the opposite side. That's really all I'm doing, trying to just help the plants here. Really should have another post right there on the other side, but I am out. I think I am out. Oh my gosh, this is a weed. Now this bed right here is where I direct sow the Aurora zinnias from Johnny's, and they are already blooming. They're doing amazing. They're super healthy. When I removed the cool flowers that I had in this bed, and I had that layer of that jute netting, it broke. Half of the bed, half of the netting on the front of the bed broke, and I meant to replace it with the plastic hortonova one, and I just have it. I'm going to do that today, but I put marigolds there, and they're doing really nice. I do have to pinch them because they're definitely ready. And on the other side, I have also some celosia that I started from seed, and then again, when I removed the stalk that it was growing here, I put a layer of hortonova, and they're also doing really well. They were just planted here not long ago, so they're very short, but like I said, I'm going to be working on this area. I'm going to just try to support things better. I'm going to weed a little bit, and then I'll show you the tomatoes that I have growing on that gorgeous diamond trellis. for the zinnias that are back here, I'm just going to corral the top areas, which I am not going to do for the marigolds here in the front because they just don't need it. Things are looking a lot better. Definitely with support, the flowers grow a lot nicer than just, letting them be. As I mentioned, most of the flowers that I am growing only have one layer of the netting, and that's plenty. Other than the dahlias, which, I'm using the corral method. But the zinnias here, I had to do a corral because they're definitely taller than most of the zinnias that I have in other spots. The sunshine is already starting to appear here, but I do want to show you the lovely tomatoes that I have growing up that diamond trellis. I have a total of 3 indeterminate tomatoes, pineapple. It's one of my favorite varieties, and I have been kind of attaching it here to grow high, and I have a lot of tomatoes already. I do need to clean it up here. I do need to remove some suckers. I need to remove some branches for better air circulation. It's a bit tight in there, so I don't know how much I can show you, but let me bring you along and show you how gorgeous they're doing. If you don't believe me when I'm talking about having very small space, look at that. That right there are a bunch of volunteers. I have some Amidara volunteers here. I'm just letting them be. They're growing right there next to the garage. They're lovely. And I have the 2 boxwoods right here. And the lovely tomatoes just growing up there. The tomatoes are just in the ground. I added a little bit of compost when I planted these tomato plants here. They were looking a little bit sad in the beginning because they were being blocked by all the cool flowers that I had here. And but once they took off, I mean, they're just growing so lovely. And I have a lot of green tomatoes, lots of tomatoes that are already on these vines. Nothing is starting to ripen just quite yet, and that's completely fine. I don't know how much you can see here, but sometimes I just remove all of the suckers that are like not growing any healthy. I already have most of the branches or most of the vines that I wanna take up. And really the main thing that I do with these plants right here is just making sure that they have air circulation. And for that I remove a lot of branches, lots of branches. I want to make sure that I take my time because sometimes if I'm in a hurry, sometimes I might just make a cut where I don't want to. So this looks good. The bottom part here looks really good. Oh, it's a little muggy already. It is time for me to move somewhere else, but let me show you really quick how I am trying to control these tomato plants. I have a total of 3, and the branches that are not quite going inside of the trellis, I just come here and I like help them. If I can reach them, I just kind of help them very gently, and I use the stretchy tape to attach them to the trellis, and that's probably what I'll do here. But in order for them to have nice ventilation, because the trellis that I'm using here is about, I don't know, it's about maybe 6-7 inches away from the wall, so there is a nice path behind them. But I also do want to help them, and I'm just taking branches from spots where I think that, that the air can just circulate. And I don't really have a specific pattern how I do this. I just kind of go here and there, just trying to not have a whole jungle here of tomato branches. And I try not to go too happy about pruning everything. As long as I make holes here and there, then I'm happy. It looks a lot better in my opinion. It can breathe a lot better. And I don't do this like every week. I don't do this like every 2 weeks. I do it, you know, if I see that there is a lot of green going on, I just come here and I just give them a little bit of a break. That's about it. Neighbors are outside. People are doing things outside in their yards. I love that sound. Thank you for being here, you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Now the fun part is cleaning up.